Wolfpack, welcome back to my channel. I thought today I'd do an opinion piece on the PJ Washington, Brittany Renner situation that has been gaining a lot of traction. I actually had to look up who PJ Washington is because I'm British and I don't really follow the NBA at all in the UK. But yeah, it turns out that this young guy actually got finessed. I mean, there's no other way around it. He got absolutely finessed. PJ Washington, turns out, he's a young buck. He's probably, 23? And professional basketball player for the Charlotte Hornets in the NBA. Played college ball for the Wildcats, Kentucky, after being selected by the Hornets in the first round of the 2019 draft with the 12th overall pick. So my rudimentary understanding of the draft, that indicates that he's rather good. And he was named to the NBA All-Rookie second team in 2020. Grew up in Dallas, one brother, one sister. Both of his parents played basketball as well, so seems to be some parental influence there, and probably even genetic influence. Wears the number 25 because his father wore 25 in college. Was considered one of the best players in the 2017 recruiting class by Scout.com, Rivals.com, and ESPN. So he's been marked out since, at a youngish age for greatness. He's done well in college. He's 6'7". He's a power forward, and he's going to have a lot of traction in the dating market, right? Undoubtedly. Throughout his freshman season at Kentucky, he played through a pinky injury that required surgery in the summer. NCAA tournament lost to Kansas State. Blah 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 blah. Apologies, I don't mind basketball, but I wouldn't say that I'm a biblical follower of the sport. Anyway, Brittany Renner. She's been getting a lot of hate about grooming this guy. She's I think she's maybe 28, 29, I can't remember, but we'll see as we go through the article, right? Brittany Renner addresses accusations that she groomed PJ Washington. She sarcastically responds to fans accusing her of grooming her ex, PJ Washington, while he says not to believe everything on the internet. Twitter erupted after it was revealed that Charlotte Hornets player PJ Washington and his model girlfriend Brittany Renner had broken up. The couple had just welcomed a baby into the world this year, and it looked like their split wasn't the most amicable, with Washington tweeting and deleting, "You was faking it all along." The world has continued to react to their breakup, and on Thursday, both Renner and Washington spoke about the situation on their respective platforms. Here she is looking reasonably attractive, but obviously this is like the best she's ever going to look, right? I think if you go on the most recent Instagram garbage that she's put out, you take all the makeup away and she just doesn't look the same at all. It's underwhelming if you ask me. Being a little bit more vocal than a Hoops star ex, Brittany Renner has been sarcastically responding to fans accusing her of grooming PJ. Some people have been sharing images of her at one of his high school games when he was 18. At the time, she was reportedly in her mid-20s. So she's pushing 30 now, and it could easily be assumed that she groomed him on the basis that she's just had a kid with him and then left. And he's going to be on the hook, man, for child support. I think it's like $200K a month, which is ridiculous. It doesn't cost that much money to raise a child. All the hate she's getting. You stalked an 18-year-old in college while you're pushing 30 and had a kid with him just to drop him. You're the worst kind of human, wrote one fan. Brittany responded saying, "Tell me more, ear emoji, this is getting juicy." She then proceeded to tweet, "Opinion is really the lowest form of human knowledge." It's called deduction. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to assess the situation and figure out what the most likely plan was, right? Here he is, PJ. And don't get me wrong, I blame PJ as well for being dumb. As for PJ Washington, he's been quiet as of late, but he does want his followers to focus on the real world and not on what's being said online. "Don't believe everything you see on the internet," he wrote, earning a retweet from Brittany. Check out all of the updates below. I mean, this stuff is kind of it's just all nonsense if you weigh it all up. But I thought that PJ's example, it provides a lot of guidance for men on what not to do. If you're fortunate enough to have an occupation like he's got, earning shed loads of cash every single month, adulation and fame, you've got to do everything you can to protect your wealth, but also protect your genetic material from being abused. So important. especially by this trash. He responds, don't believe everything you see on the internet. So he's actually defending her. Unless, of course, he's going to know more than we know. Let's just see what some of the comments are saying here. Because half these ends is beaters. Lala did the same thing to Mello. I was there for one of those parties where he played in Denver after he got in the league, and next thing you know, she's pregnant with Kian. The only difference is there was no Twitter or IG. I had no idea what that guy was talking about. The internet has destroyed the male psyche. Yes, it certainly has. Thoughts and prayers for PJ. I knew the dude was screwed after he knocked her up. If Uzi wouldn't do, why would you? I imagine that's Lil Uzi Vert. Again, I'm not familiar with him because I'm just not into that culture and that music. Ends better catch up on Kevin Samuels' videos and learn game. Absolutely. Yeah, you can go over to the Godfather's page and check out some of his videos. Like wisdom. But it's too late for PJ, man. This guy responds, most of what that man says is ignorant. If you couldn't tell that Renner was going to do that from the jump, then you just didn't know her. My boyfriend and I were laughing our butts off when she was doing everything we predicted. From posting the dude and taking her pics down to getting knocked up without a ring. She even posted the fam. She then proceeded to break up with him and went back to the 304 stuff. Now she's going to make another book and be telling those stories on her IG where she's just talking out the side of her neck again. Groomed him, got that genetic material, said bye-bye. She's waiting on them checks to start rolling in. 200k a month for doing nothing at all. Never, as Bill Burr would say, she's never taken a layup in her life. N was 18 from Kentucky. He was doomed. Went from seeing farm chicks to her at 18. He was toast, plus no OGs to tell him to chill. At age 18, if you're on top of this chick and she wrap her legs around you, Tom Bout, don't pull out. I'm on it all. When you're 18 and she's pushing 30, you're going to feel like a god. You toast. Pray for PJ. Hope this wised him up. Expensive ass mistake. Oh, that's gold. Gold. Oh, man. Boy never stood a chance. She knew exactly what she was doing. This is why Mans was upset. PJ Washington is a simp. Tried to lock down a 304. He got finessed. Has to learn his lesson. Pure truth, my friend. He was 18, didn't know any better. Yeah, there's nobody there to put an arm around him. Like somebody else in his group, his social circle, like even if it's another player who's like older, surely they should have given him an example, put an arm around him and said, look man, she's a 304. She's going to use you for a check. Just bin her off. Or better yet, rub her up. IG 304 is the lowest form of entertainment. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. Def applies to all that cap she's spewing on Uzi. Yeah, I'll include the link to this article because the comments are gold. Why couldn't he just knock it down with a rubber and move on? Why would you wife her? I don't get it. Yeah, beaters, beaters, beaters. She actually has a book. A book about what? Just banging. Yeah, anyway. There's a few articles on the topic that I'll include in the description box below, but I think it's a very useful example, right, of how to manage your life, especially when you're young. If you're a young man in your late teens, early 20s, and you're earning this kind of money, you've got fame, it's the 1% of the 1%. You've got to do everything you can to protect your genetic material so it doesn't get abused and taken away from you. And you also have to protect your coin as well. So he's going to be, whether he says so or not, he's going to be on the hook for 200 grand a month. Absolutely. She's got a meal ticket for the rest of her life, for the next 20 years or so, right? So to make sure you don't get finessed like this dude, take every precaution, and you need, respectable, influential men in your social group to make sure that you don't go astray. Thanks for listening as always, and I'll see you in the next video.